Hello and welcome, I'm King Gaudi, and in this tutorial we will look at sticky keys, what causes it and the various methods you can use to get rid of it. So why do we get sticky pads? There are various reasons. When you play your saxophone and you blow warm air into your saxophone, you're not just blowing warm air into your saxophone, but you're also blowing part of your saliva. Now your saliva is filled with chemicals. The enzymes in your saliva are there to break down the food that's been trapped between your teeth. So throughout the night and throughout the day, your saliva has been breaking down the food trapped between your teeth into smaller particles, which then also get blown into your saxophone. When you eat food, when you drink fizzy drinks, tea, alcohol, all the sugars contained in the food, in the drink, also get blown into your saxophone. So what I'm trying to say is when you play your saxophone, you're actually blowing contaminants into the saxophone, which will then run down in the saxophone in the form of a liquid and land on the pads. Now if you look at the pads have a groove in it, or a ridge. The liquid will get into that groove, and as you leave your saxophone to dry, that liquid will dry up in that groove and will leave a residue. And each time you play it, each time you leave it to dry, it'll build up another residue in that groove. And eventually it will become a sticky substance that will cause your pads to stick. Now, not everybody's saliva is alike. Some people's saliva are prone to causing their saxophone to stick, whereas others, they'll find when they play the saxophone, they will not experience these sticky keys quite as much because of the makeup of their own saliva. The other thing you need to bear in mind is that the pads themselves, not all pads are alike. You have some expensive pads, some cheaper pads, some with a thicker coating of leather, some with thinner, some have been treated to repel water, some are not treated, and so they all react differently to this liquid that has formed on the pad. So there are various reasons why your pads will stick. So which keys become sticky keys? Well, if you look at your saxophone, some keys are permanently open, some keys are permanently closed. It's the keys that are permanently closed that are prone to becoming sticky keys. The keys become sticky during the drying process. So when you leave your saxophone to dry, put it away in its case and you're leaving it to dry, any key or pad associated with the key that is permanently closed are prone to becoming sticky keys. Some of the culprits are the G sharp key, the low C sharp key and the E flat key. The bass key also to some extent. Those are the main keys that become sticky. But like I said, any key that is permanently closed when you put your saxophone away are prone to becoming sticky keys. So how do we prevent sticky keys? Well, the best way to prevent sticky keys is to clean your saxophone thoroughly after each time you play it. Now I have made a video on how to clean your saxophone, so you can watch that. It's a thorough video containing all aspects on cleaning your saxophone. That's one way to prevent your keys from becoming sticky. Another way is to lessen the amount of contaminants that you actually blow into the saxophone. So therefore, when you play your saxophone, make sure you clean your mouth before you play your saxophone. And while playing the saxophone, make sure you don't drink or eat anything while playing it. I know it might be hard if you're in a long session, but if you do, then maybe rinse out your mouth before playing the saxophone again. That way it reduces the amount of contaminants that are blown into the saxophone, and then will reduce the amount of times you have sticky keys. If you do get a sticky key, what can you do about it? Well, there are various products on the market which you can use to solve this problem. Now, one of them is a chalk paper or powder paper. And basically what it is a piece of paper that has been coated with powder or a chalk residue, and you put that under the pad, and that will leave a residue of chalk on top of this sticky substance, which will remove the stickiness of it. If you look at this example, I've placed a bit of tape on the table, and as you can see, the tape is very sticky. But if I put some powder on it and wipe the powder onto the sticky tape, then you can see there's no more any stickiness. And this is the principle that is used with these chalk papers or powder papers. But it's not very recommended because actually you're not getting rid of the sticky substance, you're just coating it with powder, and it's just going to build up, and also it will leave a mess within your saxophone. So If you want something for a quick fix, then that's what you can use, but in the long term it's not recommended. In my opinion, the best thing to use is just a simple Q-tip or cotton bud. Make sure it's one of the small tip ones, because you need to get into the saxophone underneath the pad, and just use some water. So a Q-tip or cotton bud with some water, and just wipe around the pad, wrap around the groove in the pad very gently, of course, and wipe around the rim of the tone hole, and that should be sufficient for it. Another thing that you can use to get rid of the stickiness is to actually wipe it out. Either wipe it out with some cloth or with some paper. So for instance, you can just get a piece of A4 paper, tear it to a small size, stick it under the key, press down the key, and then pull it out. What some people use and prefer to use is a cigarette paper. So in this case it's a Rizzler. It's very absorbent to liquid. One side of it has a gluey substance of it, so obviously you don't want to put that part on your pad. So you're either going to use the part of the cigarette paper that doesn't have the glue, or you're just going to get a scissors and just cut off, which I would recommend, just get a scissors, cut off the part of the cigarette paper that has the glue, and then just use this part. So basically, again, you're just going to stick that underneath the key, press down the pad lightly with your finger, and then pull it out, and then you should see on the paper the residue that's being wiped out. You can also do this with a soft cloth as well, but the soft cloth may pull on the pad, which you don't really want. So a paper is probably better, because a paper is smoother and would not actually tug at the pad. If that doesn't work and it's still sticky, then you can use it, the Q-tips, the Rizzler paper or cigarette paper, or the A4 paper, in conjunction with some lighter fluid. Now, lighter fluid is the fluid that you use to fill in a cigarette lighter, and it does say on there it's good for cleaning products. You just dip the Q-tip or cotton bud in the lighter fluid, get rid of some of the excess, and then wipe it out, and that should do a better job than just water. Or you moisten the cigarette paper or the A4 paper or the cloth with the lighter fluid, and do exactly the same thing. Put it under the pad, press down the pad lightly with your finger, and then put it out, and then that will take away the residue. You don't really want to use alcohol, though alcohol can be used, but in the long term the alcohol will dry out the pad and maybe cause the pad to crack, whereas lighter fluid is less harsh than alcohol. So these are various ways how you can remove the stickiness from your keys. You may have to try them various times. You may have to try different combinations to find out which is more effective for your saxophone. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, give it a like, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment. Maybe you know a different way of how to remove stickiness from pads. I would like to know. I've been researching various methods on how to remove the stickiness of keys. It's always good to know another method. Let's face it, we're all going to have to deal with sticky keys at some point in our career. So it's always good to know a variety of methods on how to remove sticky keys. Once again, thank you for watching my video, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.